The U.S. Army Chemical Materials Agency, known as CMA, is the world leader in destruction and storage of chemical warfare materiel. CMA develops and uses technologies to safely store and eliminate chemical weapons, while protecting the public, workforce, and the environment. CMA currently uses incineration technology to destroy the stockpiles in Anniston, Alabama, Pine Bluff, Arkansas, Tooele, Utah, and Umatilla, Oregon. Successful disposal of chemical weapons has been completed at former sites located in Edgewood, Maryland, Newport, Indiana, and on Johnston Island in the Pacific Ocean. In addition to elimination of stockpiled weapons, CMA destroys recovered and miscellaneous weapons under its Non-Stockpile Chemical Material Project, or NSCMP. NSCMP uses non-intrusive assessment technologies and mobile treatment systems. The United States ratified the Chemical Weapons Convention, or CWC, in 1997, joining more than 180 countries pledging to rid the world of chemical weapons. The CWC is an international treaty aimed at reducing the threat to mankind of all chemical weapons and chemical agent. The Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons oversees the treaty. On October 5, 2009, CMA destroyed its 2 millionth munition since entry into force of the CWC. This achievement is testimony to the expertise and commitment of its workforce. CMA reached the 1 millionth munition destroyed in 2001. On Thursday, October 29, 2009, CMA acknowledged this destruction by hosting an all-day event involving former principals and leaders. These individuals, along with current leadership, attended a morning session which included discussions about the expertise of the past with the direction and path forward of the current organization. The morning session was followed by an informal open house where prior and current employees gathered to mark the occasion and share in past, present, and future accomplishments.
Well, first of all, let me say, being the grandfather of the program, obviously I was in on the beginning of it. I started the program in 1969 as Task Force Eagle and stayed with the program more or less through 1976. And really, I think the defining moment could be described as being able to work with some of the finest people in this area. I really appreciate having the opportunity to work with them. And the fact that we did such a fine job in those days is attributable not to me, but to them.
My favorite moment would have probably been when we developed a DPE suit and had it finally approved and used it. And the DPE suit is the Demil Protective Ensemble, the white suit. And I was on the team that helped develop that. And right now we've got well over 100,000 safe uses with it, so we're very proud of it. And that and the Army led the way in protective clothing for all the industries too, because none of them had it to the Army.
I think the most important memory I have in the program was getting through the first 1,000,000 hours without an accident, where we made safety the key. Well, I think the lesson learned is that the Army can do a good job of things that it has never done before.
Good.
And that's remarkable.
Good. Well, thank you. We're so glad.
During the time that I was in the Pentagon, I would go home on weekends and I'd say to myself, I think I really did something. The ability, the contribution, the ability to contribute something that in some cases had global influence was really the most rewarding thing in that program. And dealing with the local people, I really got a rush when they came over and said, for instance, when we took incineration out of Aberdeen and Newport, I had people coming to me all the time saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. Although there really was nothing wrong with the incineration. It was that perception of dealing with the people, getting down there, being face to face with them and actually listening to them. Really, that's all they wanted. And I think we did that very well. We put together the storefronts for public relations. Those, I think, were exceptionally good. And again, it was a team effort of everybody pulling together and understanding the goals of what was going on.
working with
Well,
these?
we got an amazing team here. You know, from the military people, part of going through 9/11, guarding it, the military people that on Johnson Island started storing a lot of this, monitoring it, to the engineers that put these plants up into place, and now are operating it. You know, the corporate sponsor, the corporate team players. I mean, it's amazing the people that have come together to do this, and it's quite an achievement. I know from the soldier who still has to wear a gas mask, it's one less threat that we have to worry about. And I think on a global scale, there's a global impact here. There's a lot of countries looking at us, seeing that happen. I mean, we've not just taken something that we weren't sure we could do, we've actually done it and are doing it. And that's really an amazing legacy in arms control. It's a lot to be proud of.
And now the defining moment that after the first bullet back in early 90s, we come here, this is 2009, about 2 million munitions. So it's a great accomplishment for the program. And we are probably the only country which is really way, ahead. Nobody has done, almost 66% of our stockpile. So having been part of the first bullet destructions of the the 2 million round is a great deal for me, So I think once we will finish it, the legacy would be how safely, because these beasts were not designed for demilling, they were designed for using for their intended purpose. So this was a very difficult task, and I think we call it the program was based on political chemistry rather than regular chemistry. So the fact that we involved all the stakeholders to get this thing done right, I think is a very historical achievement.
And I've been here, like I say, for 25 years. I've seen a lot come and go. I can tell you that I'm very impressed with all that's transpired. I'm awed by the fact that we've come so far and we're almost done. And I just never thought when I started that I would ever see this event occur. But I'm very impressed, and I think that the people here represent truly a fraction of the people that come and gone. And but I look around, there are so many people like myself who retired years already, 5 and 6 years, and they're here again to reassemble, and so I'm amazed. I think it's a great thing.
CMA remains committed to the safe and ultimate destruction of the nation's remaining chemical weapons stockpile. While CMA is responsible for the safe storage of 100% of that stockpile, it has the ultimate destruction responsibility for 90% of those stocks. Destruction of all chemical weapons will eliminate the risk to the CMA workforce, our surrounding communities, and our environment.